welcome to another one of our video blogs with National Able Network. This week is National Employ Older Workers Week, and as you may have heard from previous videos, we have a senior community service program here that is really phenomenal and makes a difference in a lot of people's lives. And so we wanted to take this opportunity to talk to some of our staff and participants in that program and talk a little bit about National Employ Older Workers Week. So first, I thought we'd start off with some statistics. By 2024, the Bureau of Labor and Statistics projects that labor force will grow to about 164 million people, 41 million of whom will be aged 55 or older, and about 13 million will be 65 and older. So older age groups are projected to have faster rates of labor growth annually than any other group. And that's because people are healthier and living longer, they're better educated, which increases their likelihood of staying in the labor force, and I think in some cases people maybe need to stay in the labor force longer. I started thinking about my dad, who's in his 70s. I'm not sure if he needs to work or if my mom needs him to work. So it's a combination of, no judgments there, but I think that we're seeing that older workers are staying in the labor force more. And so we wanted to talk today about what does that mean? What does it mean for our older workers, and how does National Able Network and other programs like that support older workers and the employers that we work with as well? So I'd like to start off by introducing some people. So this is Pat, who runs our Senior Community Service and Employment Program. Say hi.
Hi everybody.
And then Sarah and Lorenzo, who are program aides. So they are participants in our Senior Community Service Employment Program.
Hello, how you doing?
And I'd like to kick it over to Pat to have a little bit of a discussion about National Employ Older Workers Week.
Okay, thank you. And if I could just give one little bit of tidbit of information about CSEP, the Senior Community Service Employment Program is the only federally funded program that provides work and training experience for population 55 and above, which both Lorenzo and Sarah are. They look great to be in that population, and we value their services here at ABLE.
They're both 55 and a half.
Okay, I wish.
I'll take that.
So I want to start off by asking both of you guys, first of all, thank you for joining us today, and just to tell us a little bit about what you were doing before you came to CSEP, prior to you starting training here with us at ABLE. So Lorenzo, if you want to start.
Well, prior to coming to CCEP, I had a home-based business. I'm a paralegal by trade, and I started a company about almost 7 years ago, and it proved successful in the beginning, but over time it really lost its punch, if you will, because I had limited computer skills, and computer skills are very important in the workforce as well as in what I was doing. So in of itself, it didn't work out to what I thought it was because I didn't have the proper skills to get it going. So
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Sarah, what were you doing before you came to CSEP?
Well, I had the opportunity to work with both the daycare industry and also the catering industry. And in both of those fields, I was doing most of the office work, soliciting for new business and also keeping the records for both the daycare and for the marketing business. So it was still always people oriented to me, which I love to work with folks.
Yes, you do. Sarah, she does a wonderful job with working with customer service, and both of you guys are providing customer service now here with ABLE, not only internally to our staff that you help support here, but externally through our call center as well. So I'm gonna ask you another question, a follow-up kind of to that first one. What brought you to CSEP? I think people always don't really know what the requirements are to come to CSEP, but one of the primary ones is that you must be unemployed at the time you start CSEP. And both of you guys seem like you had pretty diverse backgrounds and skills. I know you were talking about your computer skills you wanted to work on.
Yes.
So what initially brought you to CSEP?
Well, again, like I stated, I like the proper skills to be effective in my business. So I was volunteering at one of CSEP's host agencies, okay. But it was by my, it was a loan program. I mean, a loan attempt to get into the workforce. And I volunteered for quite a few years, and I noticed that a lot of the things that they did was with the computer. And I know computers is the way of the future, so basically I was told about the program and said it would enhance my computer skills, so that drove me to National Able.
Awesome, we love when our host agencies give that information, and as a volunteer for you to have an opportunity to come over to CSEP to grow your skills and also to be paid subsidized wages while you're doing it.
Exactly.
Should be very beneficial as well.
It is.
Great,
It is.
thank you. And Sarah, what brought you to CSEP?
Well, you know, in thinking about that, first I thought I did all the work, okay? But actually, I had met an old friend of mine who was in banking. And at the time, I was like in between jobs. And I was asking her what was she doing, and she told me that her job had faded out at the bank. And she had been with the bank 25 years or more. And I said, well, what are you doing? She said, well, I found this program, and she began to give me details. That it was almost the way she was acting, it was like an employment association. But then when I did my own research, I found out it was a training program, which was even better.
Right.
Because just like Lorenzo, the computer skills, I had just limited knowledge. And working here at CSEP and with National Able, oh my goodness, the different programs and the educational value that they add to you. And not to put you on like, you better know how to do this by next week, you know, but you go at your own pace, but you also have to study and learn as best as you can as you're going through the programs.
Awesome. So that leads me into my next question for you guys in terms of once you got to CSEP and you understood what the program is, it's training and employment. We hope to help you to enhance your skills so you can move forward into unsubsidized employment. What are maybe 2 or 3 things that since you've been with CSEP that you learned or that you're hoping to learn if you haven't yet accomplished the skills that you're hoping to improve?
First and foremost, my customer service skills has improved because I learned a great deal talking on the phone, making calls. So my customer service skills.
Tell us a little bit. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now with CSEP.
Right now, I'm what you would call an eligibility coordinator / program aide, and what I do is I make phone calls to seniors that had inquired about the program and see if they're still interested in it. And I do a screening process, and then after the screening, I do an eligibility process. And if they prove to be eligible, then I schedule them for an information session to which they will learn more about the program and then make a determination if this is, in fact is what they want or not. So basically, I procure people for the program.
So it's that peer assistance where you are kind of full circle now. You are in the place where some of these individuals were not too long ago, where they're trying to get in the program. And who better than someone who's been through the process and to talk to them about what CSEP is and to get them on the program. Right.
Exactly, and that's how I relate to them because again, I was there, so I'm better equipped to tell them more about the program as opposed to them just going online, looking at it, and then applying for it. I give them a more insight into the program, an inside look into the program, and it proved to be very helpful because they indeed are interested and they joined the program.
Excellent.
So yes, it's just beautiful.
Okay, excellent. And Sarah, what are you doing currently with CSEP?
Ooh, let's see.
Or is it kind of like, what aren't you doing?
It makes each day so very interesting, and it's so, you know, you feel so well accomplished when you leave here, you know, because when Pat or Barbara or any of the other, you know, supervisors here say, well, you need to do a mail merge today. Oh, okay, let me go back in my book. Let me refresh in my memory, and okay, I think I have it. And it's a lot of different opportunities, and working with Pat, of course, and with Barbara, they keep, it's not a demand, but they keep you enlightened as to, yes, you can do this, you know, and you're able to do it. That's why we're asking you to do it, because you can do it. So that makes it wonderful. And it's just very encouraging that at the end of the day, I think I did do it. And just hopefully I did it properly. and correctly, and if I didn't, let me know so I can correct myself.
Awesome. What should people understand about your work ethic and what you bring to the table?
Well, I am a true believer in doing the best that I can do and being the best I can do. And so to be here, to come to work, that's number one. It's a good work ethic, okay? And
That's
number
definitely
and number two, to do the job as best as I can do it. And then number three, if I can't do it, to try to put some more effort to find out how I can achieve this, and the way that I'm doing it, maybe I could do it differently, but it gives me the aspects of, yeah, I could do this, but what changes do I have to make in order to get it done?
That's a great attitude to have, to bring to the workplace. And Lorenzo, I'll ask you the same question.
I could think of 3 words that really describe my work ethics, and that would be I'm very effective, efficient, and proficient. I like to make sure it's done, and that's something I can offer any employer in the workforce. Those are my 3 favorite traits.
Awesome.
So,
Excellent.
thank you.
That's great. One of the things that I wanted to make sure that we share with companies is that about 22% of the workforce in 2016 is somebody 55 and better, not older. And in 10 years, that's going to go up to 25%. So this is really something that's we're going to see baby boomers staying in the workforce longer, and we're going to see more and more employers, employing older workers. And I think that my impression is that there are companies out there that maybe don't understand what that means for them and what seniors bring to the table. And the interesting thing is, there's all this bias against people 55 and better, which is why we have this program, is to kind of get, help people through that challenge of losing a job after you're 50 and having to kind of reinvent yourself and reevaluate your skill set and figure out how to get back into the workforce. But I guarantee you that there's a lot of employers out there that are in their 30s and 40s that don't know how to do a mail merge. So, right? Am I right?
You are totally correct.
I gotta be honest, I would have to refresh my skills too. And so, I think the important thing for our employers to understand is that you need to push away your bias, inherent or otherwise, and really see our seniors as who they are. People that have a strong work ethic. They come to work every day on time. They don't make excuses. They learn quickly, and they have the skill set that you need in their workforce. And so I would love to ask you a couple of questions. As you guys are all in job search right now, so you're talking to companies about jobs. Can you tell us some stories of maybe some things that have frustrated you as an older worker in job search, and maybe some of the things that you've had to deal with in job search from different employers? You don't have to use employer names.
I think right now in this time and age, it's not getting that first one-on-one with your future employers, since everything is done on the computer. You're submitting your application and all of that. And then we're learning right here at National Able about resume writing and how to interview and what words to use that the computer will pick up and possibly get you to that human resource person. So that's kind of a challenge right there, because one thing, sometimes when you're face to face, I know I could do it, I could persuade someone, but just getting to that employer through the good computer is the thing. Using and knowing the dynamics of how to word your resume, and especially your cover letter. So it's challenging that way.
Yeah. And I guarantee you there's some 20 and 30 somethings that are going to be watching this video. They're going to be like, oh man, I didn't know I was supposed to do that. So thank you for teaching our younger people how to get their resume through the applicant tracking system.
Okay. Thank you.
Lorenzo, what would you tell a future employer about why they should consider hiring older workers?
Again, excuse me, first off, it's been proven that older workers are more stable than the workforce. That's a proven fact. You have less seniors or people that are 55 years or better. You have less of those than you do the younger people that want to work. They actually want to get back in the workforce or stay in the workforce. Again, it's a very good experience to be back in the workforce because you're updating your information. You're getting to learn new things because as time goes on, things changes. And when you find yourself a little in a hiatus, if you will, from the workforce, then when you get back in, it's kind of hard to join in that workforce. So you more or less have to reinvent your skills. And National Able is a place to do that at. You reinvent your skills, you learn so many things here. So in addition to that, I truly believe that employers will do better if they hire seniors 55 years or better. They would do better because they will have, the employers are looking for longevity. We understand that. That's the number one thing. We do understand that, but again, you can have short-term and good workers in the seniors. So I really believe that seniors could, in effect, benefit the workforce.
So thank you to Pat and Lorenzo and Sarah for talking to us today about National Employee Older Workers Week. And as we celebrate National Employee Older Workers Week, if you have a senior in your life that you think could benefit from the CSEP program, please have them check out nationalable.org. And if you're an employer, please reach out to us because these are some awesome people and you need them on your workforce. They will really benefit you, and I hope that we've changed some minds, and hopefully we'll get a bunch of employers asking for us to do some hiring events for them because you will really benefit from the seniors that we have looking for work and really ready, as Lorenzo and Sarah said. They've got the skill set, they've got the work ethic,
They're ready.
and they're ready to work.
Very rare.
Thank you very much.